Good morning and welcome once again to the Teachers Training Program organized by DC IASC Vilaspur. This is the 7th part of our parts of speech introduction, and in this part we'll be talking about the adverbs. In the last parts we've discussed adjectives, and in the parts of speech family we discussed adjectives and adverbs as the twin sisters. Okay, because both adjectives and adverbs function mostly in the same way. The only difference is that the adjectives describe the noun, whereas the adverbs they describe the verbs. So the adverbs basically talk about how a certain work is being done. What is the intensity of the work being done by the noun? So, as we say, adverbs are the words which usually describe a verb. They can also sometimes describe other words, and they tell us how we do something, when we do something, where we've done something. So when we talk of a place, when we talk of time, when we talk of the mode of action, all these things are described by the adverbs. For example, we can see here, he sang loudly. Now the word loudly, it tells us about how did he sing. So was his song loud or slow or smooth or harsh? How was the song performed? Second, I play sports outside. Now here I'm playing something and the word outside is telling me where is that sports being played. So outside is an adverb. She always skips to the park. Now when, and we are talking about time or the changes, when does she skip in the park? So how often does she do it? So we are telling the intensity is she always skips to the park. Yesterday we went to the movie. Again we are talking about the time when she went for the movie. So the yesterday is telling us about the time. We heard her softly spoken words. Now we are talking about how the words were spoken. Was she very harsh in speaking something, or was she very soft when she spoke certain words? So these words, softly, yesterday, always, loudly, these words tell or describe about how the action was done, where the action took place, or when the action took place. So all these things which describe different forms of activities in different various situations, these words are called adverbs. Now we should remember, an adverb tells us more about a verb. An adverb describes or modifies the verb in some way. Many adverbs end with suffix ly, but not all. Adverbs often tell us how something happened. It means action, with whatever action is done, how it was performed. And we should always remember that when we talk of how the action was done, we also talk about the intensity of those actions. We also talk about at what level that action took place. So When we talk about the intensity of actions, we talk about degrees of adverbs. Just as we studied the degrees in the adjectives, in the same way we have degrees of adverbs, and these degrees of adverbs, they modify the verbs, they modify the adverbs or the actions which we are talking of, like the words to, enough, very, extremely. All these words tell us what was the intensity of the work, or how intensively a function or an action was taking place. Now, when we come to the functions of an adverb, we can say adverbs tell us how often a function is done. It means the frequency of an action. The words often, never, always, sometimes, they talk about the frequency of an action. Secondly, we tell us about the place, location, outside, upstairs, here, there, everywhere, anywhere. All these words, they talk about the location of an action. They also tell us about the time, afterwards, before, yet, still. All these words, since, these words tell us about the time of action. Then we have the purpose. Why do we do something? To avoid, to get, to remember. I should have a purpose, a reason to do certain action. So then they also talk about the manner, how the work is done. I mean, sometimes we say that this man, he acts as though he's a king. Okay, as though he's not a king, but he acts in the way as if he was a king. So these kinds of words, the manner, the way you perform certain action, it shows how the work is done. So the words just, well, quite, quickly, hardly, carefully, beautifully, they tell the manner in which way we are doing certain work. Then the intensity, to what degree the word is, our work is, or our function is very strong. Barely, scarcely, almost, nearly, quite, hardly, just. See, these words are there which we talk of when we talk of adverbs. In the adverbs, as you say, we have different kinds of adverbs. Namely, we have 9 types of adverbs which we talk of. So, mostly it is time, place, reason, purpose, manner. All these things are talked of when we talk of the mode of action or adverbs. So this is just, as I said, an introduction of adverbs. We'll be dealing with adverbs when we deal adverbs separately in our separate lessons. So for this, we finish it off here. Thank you very much.